Hello, everyone, and welcome to another World of Sasquatch. This episode is being recorded on 4/17/26. But before we get to anything, as always, I now open this circle to true benevolence and no conflicting agendas as of this moment in time. So, Joanne?
We are all one. When one is helped, all are helped. And let unity lead the way and make us all stronger. We pray for you, your friends, your family, your loved ones to let healing energies in. Let them love us, let them nourish us, and let them bring you to your highest good. We pray for ourselves, our guests, our people around watching, and all others. We pray for your highest good and for you to let healing energies in. Let them love you, let them nourish you, and let them bring you to your highest good. We now ask for malevolence with no conflicting agenda to be ushered out so that we may have this conversation in great understanding. And we ask for also for malevolence to be swept away so that we may have this conversation in peace. And with that, and with great blessings that we always send your way, we say, so be it.
And so it is. Okay. What has been going on in the minutes up to this episode? It was supposedly a very simple discussion on gifting. It has turned into a 20-minute screaming fest with some rogue Sasquatches that were throwing attachments and that were angry and didn't want this line of communication anymore. And I have heard in recent days that there were young ones, like the one we called JoJo in Arizona that time, that are not keen on the regular types of communication. And when the others had to, the older ones and middle-aged ones had to fight a war against some of the Draco forces, both avian and aquatic, some of them didn't want gifting, they didn't want communications, so they were stuck in like a war mode. And now they're supposed to be going back to normal. I personally don't understand what is occurring. If the normal line of bonding just isn't there. And some people, you might see this on your own. You might, if you do, report back to us. I'm actually very curious myself. If other people are running into this weird, strange behavior from the forest people. I mean, we had other beings that were around us, like some of the Mozen and some of the Lonulosians that were acting a little weird, and they had been infected with something. But this doesn't seem to be the case this time. This just seems to be some kind of weird energetic aversion. But to the extreme, to the max, like when I've been around brownies, and all of a sudden they're throwing stuff at me, and going, "Oh my god, oh my god!" And I found out they said I was letting off some kind of weird, like screech that they couldn't stand. But instead of explaining it, and explaining that maybe the energy was amiss, they went into anxiety mode. So, and also they did that with the Tower Busters as well. And up until recent, I'm going to actually go through this a little bit before I get into the topic. For whatever reason, and you'll see that the domain name isn't working, that's because I had to disconnect it. The price went so high for it. It was nearly $500 for the last one, and it was never that high. And the companies didn't really do this. This was like this weird price hike, knowing full well that I would have to disconnect this. And I found out some of the forest people were behind this because they didn't want attention at the moment because of some stuff that was going on. But on the same token, they were wanting to do this show. And I was like, no, we don't deserve this what's going on. We're your friends. And I don't know what this screwy behavior is. And I know from some of our other friends that I said they had been severely infected with something. This isn't the case in this case. So I just don't understand. And this also leads to the what the original topic was, gifting. I was told by a few of them during the day, tell people not to always leave gifts. That's tout them out to worship. And I'm like, okay, what changed? It's because it's like the fairies over in Ireland or something like that, or somebody leaving something for spirits, so they don't do anything like appeasing the spirits kind of thing. And I don't approve of that part of it, but the gifting was something out of the heart space, which they you would think that they were respecting and the unhallowed space. So I could clearly see that I was being talked to by forest people. Now, not all forest people are made alike. And as Richie would tell you over in England, he runs into some nasty ones over there. Not all forest people are made alike, folks. It's just like with us. It just the moot consensus was on communication, and there were good, kind individuals and groups. Some are not. And we have found that to be true. The same thing went with Dogman, ETs, Dimensionals, the whole thing. It's like with humans. This shows that these beings aren't to be worshipped, but they are, or as guides always, but they are friends and equals. So with this, I know Broston was wanting to talk, but I have no clue what that's about. And before I hit the record button, yeah, he was just mumbling, and it was just hard to hear him, and it was very weird. So, and I was hurt by that. I'm like, we're your biggest fans or biggest allies here. I shouldn't say fans. That means fanatic, but you get the idea. So now, Broston, before we go any further, I have to know if you're the one speaking today. You are. All right. Thank you for communicating. Yeah, this is just I'm completely dumbfounded. So that's just a question to ask here. So, Joanna, do you want to add anything?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, Brosnan, we can continue. Now, I'd like to think I'm not being overly harsh. I was mad at our other allies until I found out they were infected with something, and then I was like, okay, there was something truly wrong. But I don't feel the same in this case. This is just that something else. So,
Well, there's something really wrong.
oh God, there's
There's
something wrong.
some,
There's something
there's
really wrong.
something really wrong. It's just a matter of, is it an inducement of something or just, a change of feelings about things? So,
And I saw something similar, and I will add this during COVID in Arizona. They acted the same way for a short period of time. And there was some little bit in Japan too, where the ones that we encountered there for a very short period of time, I remember being harassed by a few of them and going, why are you treating this way? And it was each and every single time there was something in the environment that was irking them, but they weren't taking the time to explain it. So that's a mystery. So like if there's some chemical in the environment, some demonic entity in the environment, or anything, explain it. So Brosnan, before we get any more arguing like this, can you? Thank you. Um, Okay, Brosnan. You don't have to go so slow, Brosnan. I'm perfectly comfortable normally with your energy. So yes. Sorry for the abrupt entrance and the high anxiety. This is extremely regretful. This is not how we wish to portray ourselves. He is correct on all counts. Grievances and bitches. Oh, I believe you say bitches and grievances warranted. There is a difference in the community. He is not seeing it. In the past couple of months, few months, there has been a change in not necessarily just restructuring, but there are other clans that are not so keen, not so keen on communication. They're not so keen on any of the channels. The ones that hit the side of the house a moment ago are your friends and allies. They are concerned. The ones you saw a little bit ago, I'm not as concerned. Yes, he was detecting correctly. Forest people. No, they are not infected with anything, like your Mozen buddies were, or Hajamal was. But they are scared. They are full of anxiety, like this is what he was picking up on. And they, like how some of the young people are for you. Some of the young people are for you. No, guys, no. Like how some of the young people are for you. There's a triggering anxiety. It is affecting them as well. There's not many that are like this. Guys, stay on the outer border. We will enforce this if need be. Calm. You're causing undue anxiety with your psionics. All right. They are roughly between 15 and 20 years of age, each of them. Our friends over here are the ones you expect to see, from Vitos to Uram and several others. They all give their regards from the East Coast. I, myself, I'm from the Kentucky and Tennessee area, the Gatlinburg area, the forested area there. And I do want to bring up concept of gifting. Yes, we appreciate it. If it is in the heart space, we appreciate it. If it's in the communication, we appreciate it. If it's in any other mode like that, but a violent trick or trap, kind of like a baiting, or we do not want worship, like what they do to fairies in Ireland with the gifts that are set on the bridge so the fairies don't cause problems. Those are beings that just want people's shit. That's really all that boils down to. And those aren't all really fairies. Some of them are little goblin and gnomish Pukwudgie type beings that do not that just want people's shit. That's really all it is. And they scare the crap out of people, and these people have been far removed from that world for so long they don't remember that these are just little assholes they could punt kick over the river and through the woods. I'll just put it that way. So I'm going to get rid of something. Guys, can we cool it? Yes, my brothers, I will get on to it. So they're not bullying me. They are just going, hey, come on. So uh, they're all smiling at this situation. They are within the Annihilation state. And we need to gang up on some of these others that are over here. causing undue stress.
Where are their parents?
They're adults, they don't necessarily need their parents, but it would be recommended.
I mean, I'm totally serious right now. Isn't this a community issue?
Yes, you are correct. It takes a village, let's just say.
Well, it does, with, it's hard with teenage boys, and here we are now dealing with, uh, young, mostly male, I'm assuming.
Mhm. Yeah, yes. It is their vocalistics that were attempting to derail himself. They have a very potent set of psionics, and once you get that volleying back and forth, it does not end well. So, yes, guys, if you could please, so we can, so I do not have to keep watching them. Yes, thank you. Um, hmm, yes, thank them. Thank you. Find them their homes. I believe they are local ones from over just north of here. I believe that chief up there should actually be told about this. Nice. All right. Hmm. All right. They will not bother you. When a forest person goes into what you call catatonic mode, it is earth-shattering psionics that are on multiple levels, multiple fracturing levels, and it can cause a psychosis within humans that are close by. Very, not unlike a demonic set of oppression. And sometimes my own people have been accused of this, like the whole wood booger incident or wood demon type of thing, or like you said in your West Virginia is wood booger, meaning wood demon, and hence where the word booger comes from, and your God bless you, the spewing out the demons, that's where that came from. But it's not unlike one of those incidents when one of our people decides to do this. Uh, and I must say, they are acting a little bit like those booger gnomes that you saw that time that were watching you shower while on the little birds. They are doing some of this creepy shit, and they know they can get away with it, and they have an affinity for human women, so you can kind of guess what's going on. But anyway, it's not going to be tolerated. So apologies from the forest people. Moot to yourselves. And they knew exactly when to come by because they were watching earlier during him and Bjorn's session. And they were listening to what was going on, watching what was going on. And they figured they'd be like, and do things as he was tired. And then, no, we're not going to tolerate this. There's too much at stake now to not maintain the Anara, especially them. So, questions?
Well, I do want to just ask a few things because it just so happens in this area of the country right now, we have a family-friendly Virginia Beach area, which has turned into a not so family-friendly,
Yes.
multiple shooting, multiple weekends
You've
down
noticed
there.
this.
And well, the reason I bring
Several
that
of our
up,
people have been shot at as well.
well, the reason I'm bringing this up, again, because I do believe that there are certain energetic factors at play, and we are talking a lot of young men again with that issue. So
Mind control.
true. So I keep saying, are you seeing an increase of your youth? And I'm sorry, I still call somebody that's 20 to 25 in still a youthful situation. So
Yes,
I
we
still-
do. We do too, and we live a lot longer than yourselves. So,
Mhm.
I myself am several hundred years old. So it's no.
So there's something going on. And I don't know again if it's equally across the country because there's absolutely something going on here, to be causing this consistently now,
Yes. This is a form of mind control. He's picking up on it as well, where they have hit harder on Virginia Beach because this is part of the plans they had in place to destabilize gathering places and areas that are fun Like, look to your resort towns. You will not only find temples to multiple demigods, mainly that of Kidna and Lilith, but you will also find that there's a madness starting to form. And also, you would say your mob or mafia is integrating into this by causing some of this to take place, or at least embracing the moment to try to make a buck off of it. They're not doing some of the mind control, but they're noticing the pattern, just like you are. And they're like, "Oh, okay, we can claim this area." And he thought it was a false flag they were doing to increase police presence. No, 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 no. They don't want police presence. No. This is more of a mind control incident. They're actually kind of irked at the increased police presence themselves. This is not what they wanted. They wanted they're trying to be opportunistic and get money off of it, but they want customers. They do not want they don't want disruption either. This is to disrupt the fabric of your family gathering units and places, like with us, and disrupting between our species as well. So this is what is going on. They're hitting other resort areas as well, except if it's up further out into the ocean. It has to be on the main land. Out in the ocean, it's not. They can't get it as strong unless it's like, say, a cruise ship or something. But they're focused on some of these gathering places. They're focused on some of these gathering places, and you'll down in Virginia Beach. It's an extremely popular area. They're also making it so they're destabilizing Poseidon's territory. And they know he can't police it as much as he used to be able to. So I need to scoot some energy out. Washing away. There we are. Now, oh, hang on. Brothers, the swampy looking thing there. That thing there that is, yes, thank you. Now, the that was more of a topa or an egregor thought form that was being pushed this direction. I would watch for this.
Formed by who?
An echo, an echo of anxiety, an echo of the surroundings, an echo of what we were speaking about.
So I guess this is something I just want to then bring up, because normally, again, we always talk about, humans being able to form these unknowingly, but this is actually being formed unknowingly, or maybe knowingly, by also the participation of some very angry young men Sasquatch.
Yes, and it was angry young men, humans with guns. We too that are forming this.
So, it's an interesting thing, because this reminds me of a little bit of some of the issues also back when we were in Arizona, and the Trail of Tears, and some of that kind of stuff that we were looking into, where again, the young men with all that testosterone, I would say, with all of that energy, would get so riled up and then feel they needed to be the defender of. They would conjure demons. They would then be consumed by the demons.
Yes.
Do you ever have worries like that for your own?
Oh yes. Some that they don't want the communications with humans, so they will try to generate some of these egregores, not unlike some of your witch covens that are also doing some stuff too. They're trying to control your political theater puppets at the moment. Both sides are doing it the same way it was during your Trump Biden election. They are attempting to conjure demons towards each side, which is futile. Just like the Dybbuk conjuration and box incident of the Jewish people towards Adolf Hitler, it is futile. These are feral beings. There is no reason, any good one anyway, to unleash hell, metaphorically speaking, on any excuse. Now, the way to restore the peace is, of course, the non-reactionary, but at the same time, in lieu of that, there, how can I put this? Like, say in your big public spaces, creativity must return again. There must be some consensus, not necessarily on reality and what people will can agree on, so to speak. It is more like a creative center. That's what will return that area to a new prime or a renaissance period, as he would say. He likes to nickname that the Vegas Strip of Virginia Beach, over at Atlantic, by the Neptune statue, and he is right, because there is mob over there now. Like when they didn't want the other the amusement park near Hugh, but near Mount Trashmore. Yes, it's because they don't like competition. It's all about business with them. What buttresses this is creativity, communication, heart space. You've heard this enough, but it's still true, and it always will be, regardless of how many times you've heard it ad nauseum from negativity. It's still true. Now, it's one of the only ways to communicate with us anyway. Now, we can only do so much influence, and benevolent elementals can only do so much influence. So, the humans down there must not raise the anxiety level. People down there, each time they see the police, they automatically start to get anxiety. Is what is happening in your political theater puppets at the moment, regardless of what you feel about who, either from your liberal side, your Biden Kamala, or your Trump, any of them, Biden Harris, all that other stuff. Now, all theater, but this theater that is currently been conjured is more deadly than any of the other theater puppet variations that have been put in play, even for our own people. And without going into too much spookiness, and it's not any man particularly, I'm not blaming your political pundits, even though it's the theater of puppets, as dear Seamart would have put it, and did put it. It is more or less what the people are believing that it is that then creates the surroundings, the egregore. It's the egregore that you are seeing in action down on near your boardwalk. It's the egregore and the mind control that is being strengthened. People's own topos and joint egregores are being used against them, both psionically and imaginatively in their head, in narratives. This is you are seeing the result of this mind control manipulation, and the energy is going south because people have anxiety over what is going to happen next with your Iran war, or what's going to happen, say, with a draft and all this other stuff. You are getting fear being amplified also by some of your technology, like your 5G network and the like as well.
And it really does seem that, again, if I say youth, anybody under 25 and under are really potentially
They're more vulnerable.
much more vulnerable, it seems. I mean, when we like to go down there and take a walk or whatever, and it still brings us quite joy to just walk. I love seeing the people out. I love seeing the families out. I love all of that. So, but we don't stay down there really, when it gets dark or anything like that. Let's just say see a turn in the energies. So I keep getting surprised that it's happening, because that's kind of not how we're feeling about it when we're down there, potentially just hours or a day before some of this stuff has been occurring. So I find it's just so weird, the turn of the energies that have gotten these youth caught up in it. So that's very, 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 very odd to me, what's going on in general. And the theater of puppets, I think, to me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, if it truly is just, Hollywood, or Hollyweird, or whatever you want to call it,
Hollywood.
or Hollywood, or whatever you want to call it. But it seems that some of this energy is really gone above board, the way it may even be affecting some of them, that it's almost now cartoonish.
Yes.
It's like cartoonish
A
behavior.
violent cartoonish behavior. Yes, you are correct. It is because you're seeing the fakeness of it. You're seeing the appliedness of it, or the art, the dark artistry behind it, or the orchestration, and then subsequent layered escalation of it. Very much like your LA riots back in early 25, where Paramount Studios put out in their backlot all of the bricks, the cinder blocks, all the tools the riders would need to cause maximum damage, including fire materials. Their prop department was told to place it all outside. The workers did not know why, they just did it. Which he would say, well, they're guilty, but that's like the whole workers on the Death Star routine where all of them are actually guilty. Not really. That's that whole Star Wars thing. But anyway, excuse you. Now, give me a minute. Parasite, go. You're gross. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, brothers.
So I have to tell you honestly that when Chris finally told me what our conversation was going to be about gifting, that I thought, really? This makes no sense to me. This is something that could be a Q&A question. Of course, the problem is you don't want people that are starting to worship in a way of thinking they have another savior.
Yes.
So I know, but that could be a Q&A question.
Yes.
So I can't believe that's why you're here.
No.
Okay.
No, that was a thing.
That was just a statement.
That was just a statement. Yes. The reason that we are here is to discuss the accumulating egregore. It's a psionic blob that you would think the ocean and the sea would take care of it. But as long as there's anxiety in place, it fuels this dark egregore. And this is happening because of, like I said, your theater of puppets. Your theater of puppets, to summarize, consists of any set of political pundits that are essentially either orchestrating a false flag or orchestrating, he likes to call it WWE wrestling moment, where it is actually fake camaraderie or fake enemies, where they're actually frenemies, where they're friends friends behind the scenes and enemies in the press. This is what's going on through and through. All these governments that claim to be clashing, they all meet all the time and break bread with one another, and that is the truth of it. These are all, even though they don't always approve of each other's tactics, they will kick each other in the nuts because that's what cabal families do best. That is, you can find their nutsacks. So, I will say that for posterity. Now, this is some of the anxiety you're feeling, and it's being amplified through your technology. It's a form of mind control that is being placed on people through your technology, and you know that part already. And through nanotech and also some of your chemicals in your food, psionics, all this, you know that part. But
don't you think it's interesting, though, that even when some truthful information comes out for people to really consider, wait a minute, what's going on, even that is causing great anxiety?
You bet. Even saying a truth such as this, some people would have a panic attack over.
Right. And that's what amazes me, because
panic attack is the kind of the flavor in the moment.
It is. And I think, it's just so all over the place that people are trying desperately to get some sense of control because they're feeling, turning their head every direction and feeling so out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's I think you're almost forced to make a decision. I need to take for a moment that this may be something bad winds that will pass, and what I need to do is concentrate on each step that I make, staying present in the current moment,
Yes.
with only focusing on what's around me, the relationships right around me, the day-to-day interactions. Am I going to be able to represent who I am in there, or is it my panic attack going to take over?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that seems to me to be the challenge right now, of how do you wade through all of this and not lose yourself
Yes.
at this moment.
Yeah, you cannot lose yourself. You've always heard that phrase by Eminem, check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's kind of a thing that I'm talking about. To the younger viewers, with that. That is exactly, even though it's cliche, I am saying this now. You must know, and you must know who you are so you know who you're not. This is a time of that. The age of discernment, as you so aptly named that hashtag. With this, though, these young people that are doing this don't know who they are at all. So therefore, they are easily manipulatable. The warriors you have out there, the ones that have the strong heart and the strong mind, they cannot be easily be swayed. Even if
But they can be triggered.
yes, they can be triggered, but not swayed to do extreme acts of violence, like some of the uncoupled and ungrounded ones, the younger ones. There's like you saw in your Picard season 3, where all the young people were controlled by technology.
Right.
That's what the statement was being made. This is exactly. It was more of a premonition because it was you were being shown what was being planned out.
Right. And I have to joke. Again, we said it before. There's a great SpongeBob episode. If you like SpongeBob, there's a great one there where they had to reteach everybody. The dumbing effect took over.
Yes, the chemicals with your plankton character that created it, an evil one-eyed little turd, took the dumbest among them, which is Patrick Star, made the chemicals to poison everybody, turned it into a chem cloud, and then retaught them. That's exactly what is going on.
And it blows my mind because it truly is what is happening. So in many different layers, they told everyone what was about to happen. And, again, that maybe Chris can find the episode name. I don't remember what it is, and put it up here for you guys to watch it if you can find it, because it will blow your mind to say that they nailed this so greatly. And unfortunately, the conclusion is people being retrained, retaught, like they have become retarded and have to go through a school again, almost something like that, in order to, break themselves out of it. So, but it's amazing how this stuff has been, we've always said they always tell in advance, but it's amazing how they've done it and how accurate, some of this really is.
Yeah, like your Simpsons with your Homer eating a radioactive donut, and he spreads a green glowing virus that turns everybody stupid, like himself. He's basically the allegory for the dumbing.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They've done it. They've done it there. They've done it, with SpongeBob. They've shown this over and over and over again, for people, to let people see. And again, if you can, I'm assuming if you can lead credence that this could potentially be going on, and you can focus on not losing yourself in it. That's how you kind of fight against it.
Yes, this is why they showed Homer following Trump down the escalator, because they were showing what would follow in your president's wake. Would be more of the dumbing. The average American, too stupid not to shove a crayon up their nose, which that happened in the series, and he had one shoved into his brain to make him dumb. And he was actually smart before the purple crayon shoved up his brain. So this is the kind of thing you're being shown. Pay attention to this. So I'm not saying over excessive and over OCD, constantly looking for it. No, 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 no. It's very simple. You don't have to look for incredibly in-depth symbolism. Look for some of the surface, and you would say deny the known and manifest differently, or at least deny the known. Is that a show, or is that a newsreel?
Right.
So, and it's actually more accurate than your newsreel are. That is theater puppets. The other one is actually the real newsreel. So look for these, just like you had in your Men in Black movies where they were communicating through tabloids with the real alien incidences. What do you think they do in shows like The Simpsons and SpongeBob, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and several others? Especially your Simpsons. Why do you think it's been on for so long? It is because they are communicating through it. Shows like your Blacklist, shows like your Leverage, shows like all of this, even Star Trek, are showing some of it. Not quite as extensive as The Simpsons,
Right.
So your SpongeBob had multiple other things in there too, that you just haven't seen all of it. But the Simpsons, of your Futurama tried it too, but they saw the tried and true was the Simpsons, so they kept it up. Now, do they do it through the tabloids? Yeah, you can say they do some of it, especially when they have alien stuff in there. They're not showing the real alien being; they're just showing a specific incident. Every now and again, they used to put something real in there, but they didn't want to chance it, so they made it real fakeish looking. But they were still communicating with each other what the real thing was. Not unlike the one in Men in Black, where they were actually recognizing the real aliens that were in it from their perspective. So I know we're off track a little bit, but in this particular instance, the dummy is never been stronger.
Right.
And we actually liked that phrase. We know from other, perspectives, it is psionic dampening, and that dumbing is more degrading, even further, creating more of a dumbing. Because if you create that egregore, you create more stupidity. We fully understand this. We just like the humor in the dumbing because it's like the happening. So
Mm-hmm.
we encouraged him to do this just without the dumbing egregore attached to it,
Mm-hmm.
the humor attached to it.
Right, exactly. And it's not apathy to say that we're just going to wait our way through this. I think that's one of the things right now that is very hard. It's again that all you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to show them, know when to walk away. And there comes sometimes certain moments where it's really about just not losing yourself getting through this a moment in time. And again, not necessarily actively, because the problem is that if you get frustrated, you're going to act in a way that benefits them. That you've got to know when you need to hold, when you need to not, be careful, and you need to not do anything. And I say that because my belief system is that this can only go on so long.
Yes,
But
you're right. They're limited. He likes to say they're limited on resources, no matter what timeline they're utilizing. And he's still correct. Yes, they are.
And there are things happening still in the background. There really are things happening that people don't realize in the background that are for humanity's highest good, although with the theater of puppets and some of that stuff going on, it really is not.
And also, from the military, they're in these different little temporal spaces. They're not getting the resources from the multiverse, surprisingly enough. Some might, but it is actually quite difficult.
Mhm.
So it's because you have to wait till the timelines are close enough to cross into them. Can't do this. So they dug out their own trench. They have to get supplies like anybody else. So when they hit hard and fast, they are burning through supplies and something that is things sometimes that are necessary. I'm not saying provoke or taunt. That is the worst possible idea, unless you absolutely must. That's like with the ghost trying to get ghost activity with provocation. It's the same type of concept because some people are picking up on these same military that are in these other frequencies. And I'm not saying the Mosaic. No, no, no. I'm saying their darker counterparts. They will eventually run out of supplies. Excuse you, Bugman.
So, I really would like to it just explore quickly, you know, besides some of, let's just say, the cabal lineage, the more malevolent demigods that are behind some of this, and those worshipers of, it's kind of hard to grasp the fact that there could be certain military and different factions that truly seem to act in a way of just hating humanity.
Yes.
It's an amazing thing, to even, imagine that. So I just want, out of curiosity, these more negative factions like that, what's like the top tier of what is their thought process behind acting this way? I mean, what do they feel they're getting out of it? What are they taught to believe? I mean, how can they do this
They're
besides just
literally
being psychopaths?
they're psychopaths, which normally that goes without saying, but they are literally taught from when they're real little to believe. They are literally they were the gifted and above everyone else, as long as, and in some cases, They believe that they have the right to sacrifice to their God, that they're special, that their God has chosen them. They are the chosen people. I suppose people would take that the wrong way, like linking it to just Jewish, but or Hebrew. No, this is true of all the Cabal clans. They feel that they must appease their God at all costs and appease their religion at all costs, no matter what demigod or god it is, whichever one they are worshiping. So they feel they could literally uh, feed the demons a person, and they'll, okay, now our world spins on.
Right.
So this is what they believe. They are so far removed from the rest of you, you would not recognize them as human in their mentality, only in visage only. And look, but in their actions, you would not see them as human. The same with the Martian Germans.
So I guess what I'm saying is that
Cabal and Martian German are a little different. One's called, they both worship things.
so obviously, you've heard the phrase follow the money, right? You look at corporations, you follow the money, you see their entanglements with one another, and then you realize there's only a handful of folks that are running the whole show, basically. In this aspect, talking about this, my curiosity is, when you look at the energetic signature of whomever it is that they're following, let's just say.
Yeah.
It seems that energy still just runs up to a few beings.
Yes, you're right. It runs up. There's hundreds of lower demigods, little piss ants, and then there's a few only of the really, really, really old guard left. You wouldn't really recognize them even if I showed you their picture. You really wouldn't recognize them. Remember when Poseidon told you
Right.
people would think he was an abomination?
Right,
He didn't look like he used to.
right.
The same goes for several of them. Many of the really old ones, they don't really look the same as they used to. They've lost a little bit of weight. Let's just put it that way. And they gained. It used to gain weight like crazy. But with kind of like Thor with a big pot belly, that some of them looked that way for a while, and they were slovenly. Then they went the other way. But not to dump on any of the good ones that unfortunately ended up that way. Now there's these little piss ants that stick to their own territories. You have like several of the. I'll name a couple of them. Of course, you have ones you recognize, the better ones like your Odin, Thor, Poseidon. Then you have your troublemakers such as your Loki, Enlil, your Lilith, and your Echidna. But there are several of these little tiny piss ants that wanted their day in the sun or under the moonlight or whatever the hell they wanted to be in. And there are very few that take blood sacrifices, though. Moloch is another one that does. He's more the cannibalistic kind. He's the one that you think of when you think of Wendigos and things of this nature. He controls that territory. Some of your black projects control some Wendigos, and they wiped out an Inuit village with it one time. But and there are several others, such as your Baphomet, your Baal, which again, that's Enlil. That's where your Hollywood territory, all that stuff.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
When you follow the true energy signature, you really are having only a few major ones that are the sacrificing type, playing the roles of all of these other ones that have come up through history. It's like the same ones over and over again, just reinventing a name, but it's the same energy signature, which kind of blows my mind still. My mind is blown for this because I cannot imagine other worlds with that are working within the galactics that have gods that are sacrificial as a part of their structure.
No. I'm not saying Earth is unique 100%. There are some more, I want to say, primitive worlds that had something similar.
Talking reaching a pre-galactic.
Mhm.
It just seems to me like, that's where I say there must be things going on in the background, because I can't imagine the galactic community wants this and these practices as
No.
a reputation of Earth to move forward into the galactic community.
No, but also think of for a moment, you sitting at home here and now. Do you know completely, full context, what's happening in, say, like China, Russia, or any of the other countries?
Right.
No. So some of the galactics out there are only hearing things secondhand. They're not really paying attention completely. This is why certain events that have happened recently, like the death of Isaac, got some of their attention. That broadcast all over the cosmos, but it didn't get enough of them. It's just like people here; they go about their day to day. Do some care or know what goes on over in Iran or Iraq or Turkey or Kuwait or no? This is the issue. The same issue as above, so is below. There's just certain things that certain members of the galactic community in their homes, they're just not seeing. And then is there like a news type thing out there where there's broadcast a little, where you have maybe a Canis trader running his ad through something or something like that every now and again. And yes, that's there. So they do have commercials. They have that. Thanks to some humans that are out there as well, but that are used to what's down here. And the Canis were already doing this with implants, and they tried to tap into your V2K frequency quite some time ago, so like about 8 or 9 years ago. But and you guys discovered this, but and then you have the he calls them the Jawa like traders that trade in frequency coding, that they have like an orange skin like your Ahsoka character, and they have this like pharaoh like hood. They trade in frequency codes. There's also actual Jawa type beings that sell junk as well, along with the Canis. He likes to call both these groups the used car salesmen of the galaxy. You spotted them in your Doctor Who program where the female dogman was selling some stuff. But also, you have other groups, even within the Pleiades. You have some worlds that not everybody is paying attention to what happens here. More are every day. It's just like more people here are actually giving a shit of what happens overseas and vice versa. More human communities are being more united. So now this is the Senate fully aware of what's happening here? They are. They like to play dumb, but they are well aware.
Well, I
What is
can't
going on
imagine they want it. I can't
They do
imagine
not.
they want this coming
They do
out.
not.
So this
They're
is
a
why,
couple of them are cowards. They don't want to actually do anything.
well,
So
then it means that at that level, there has to be doing something directly dealing with some of these worshipped beings.
yes, yeah, they do not want to clash with the demigods and the gods. See, or gods. They don't want to clash with any of them. They don't want to clash with the remaining Draco contingencies. They don't want to clash with dimensional stuff. They would rather it calm down on its own, and then they'll creep towards this sector. They also don't want to clash with your solar warden, as well, with nuclear missiles being pointed at them, and military and whatnot, and also with Time Core. They don't want to mess with them either. You're dealing with people that could literally erase their existence if they thought about it. But they know if they erase a species, temporally, it's going to be felt and it's going to be out of control, so they don't actually do it. Other races have time travel capabilities as well. They just don't use it because they don't want to tempt fate. So, well, that's just, they don't do it. So they don't, but they know there's some loose cannons on that end with God complexes, and they don't want to deal with it. So you're just also dealing with some complacency and apathy as well, where they're like, nah, why do I care about that? Like you have people here that go, why do I care about overseas? It's the same thing. It's the same as above, so as below. Now, those would be the first people, if it calmed the hell down here, would be here going, okay, I'm glad I think I'm going to try going to Earth. Yeah, you're just going to run into that. You run into that with humans. You run into that with ETs. So there's no way around that 100%. But I would highly suggest to everybody listening, you give a swift kick in the ass, psionically, to the Galactic Senate. They are well aware. of what's happening. And Seymour and Fuma are doing wonderful there. They're having to put up with retards there, just like you put up with retards here. You keep putting it out there. Keep pestering them. They hear it. They keep not Boom and Seymour. I'm talking about the Senate themselves. They hear it even through the dumbing and the psionic dampening. They hear it. And there's also the Galactic Federation, I must say. It wasn't just the supposed Anunnaki and the Orions that implemented the dumbing. It was some of the Galactic Federation forces that were having to hear the psionics down here, like the good old story about Enlil hearing the noise of humanity.
Mhm.
Some of them did it. So they just didn't want to deal with it. And the ones that actually want to be your friends and allies, such as ourselves, such as the Velodians, such as the Lonulosians, such as some different Pleiadian groups, just are afraid, not afraid, wrong choice of words. They're kind of, their hands are kind of tied a little bit, and he disagrees with that assessment that he believes nobody's hands are tied, but you don't know the individual situations that people are in out there. You have to walk in some of the crew members' shoes as well. People are saying, well, you're not walking in people's shoes down here. But it's slightly more complicated than just landing on the White House lawn and saying hello. It's far more complicated. Ships also get shot down here as well. And it's extremely complicated. Then you have people that don't know about it that actually are afraid. Then you have frequency differential to deal with. Then you have people that would be afraid or they would begin to worship. Can't have any of it. It has to be slightly more neutral. So, with that said, there's some of these good species are walking a tightrope with no safety net. And with recent events, that I believe has been proven to all of you and to you guys especially.
Well, thank you. But you know what? Let's leave this. I think we've talked long enough. So let's leave this on a positive note. Let's give the top 3 things that people can do that will improve their lives and improve our abilities to get out there in the galactics as quickly as possible.
1, an 2, uh, well, not hard space, you could say, mixed with intention and you say manifesting differently or denying the known. 3, which should probably have been number 1. They're not gods. They never were. They are not your superiors. They are not your underlings. They are people just like you, different frequencies, different strokes for different folks. You're being abused by your own people as well with your V2K and the blocking, and also a little bit of GF mixed with a little bit of your government, with a little bit of Galactic Federation mixed with a little bit of your government. But there is good out there. There's a lot of good out there that wants to see you thrive. But they also cannot be seen as anything but equals. Just because they have superior technology, some are not that far ahead from where you are. Some are 8 eons ahead. None of them, and repeat, none of them are gods. Even the dimensionals, even the corporeals or non-corporeals alike, any of them, from plasmoid to humanoid to photonic to psionically based beings that are nothing but like a psychic tone. Yes, there are a few of those, but most of them are like you: 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head, and 2 eyes. Some have 1, but and I mean just an eye. But anyway, with that said, you even would recognize one called Sazam, which is your ET from your ET, the extraterrestrial movie. That's where they got the idea from. The cute little guy with the glowing figure. Do they have a glowing finger? Not necessarily. That was more of a joke. Uh, but they're more servants on like the resort festivals, like you saw in your Fifth Element. They're like in that kind of environment. There are a couple elephantine-ish looking people, like your Ganeshish. You'll recognize them as servant races. You saw that in your Jupiter Ascending. But anyway, before I go off on a tangent, most importantly, No worship. Do not worship. It is harmful. There, do not worship a god, demigod. You can ask for assistance, of course. From they say true benevolence with no conflicting agendas. But do not make demands of beings that are your equals. Would you do that to your neighbor or your family? Now, it is understandable if you're being harassed. It is understandable if that you all have bitches and grievances of the community. Wonderful. Please keep expressing them. What you cannot express is that you think they are above you. There is no such thing as really a higher being. They're just different dimensional layers, timelines. There's no ascension. You're just changing, he likes to say, changing your perspectives and your perceptions. Better part of Oversoul, better part of Avatar. Grounded in the I am presence. Grounding is very important too. I know that's over 3, but still, that's more 4. But that goes in with no worship and grounding. We'll just put it as 1. Since you said 3. But that is really what I wanted to say.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So, any last words before you head out for tonight?
No complete last words in this respect. Just know that your friendly neighborhood Sasquatch and Nanakam are actually back in the game, but please discern whether the individual being is right for you or not. Thank you. Heart space, and how I'm always, your intuition will be able to tell. Just like when you enter a forest, you'll know whether you're meant to be there or not, depending on, and the being may not even be bad. They just want to keep you away. In the coming years, you will understand why. You will really come to understand why, and understand us better, and understand yourselves better. So I thank you. Goodbye. Ugh. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Wow. Okay. That man, that's a bit of vertigo coming out of that. But he's very strong energy, and it wasn't exactly balanced energetically here. So normally I wouldn't recommend a channel under those circumstances, but they wanted to get a message out, so they calmed the space a little bit better, and they're right. You know, the Senate focus on them. And I'm not saying worship as a god or anything like that. He just basically said more for bitches and grievances. It's not like, oh, please, I have this, or oh, please, I have that. Don't use please with them. They'll just go, man, you just, I'm not in hatred or extreme anger, just more complaint. And also the galactic courts. The galactic courts are adjuncted to the galactic senate. They do all the little accounting work and the paperwork, and they have the file storage and things of this nature. Petition to them. Just keep focusing on them that you want this changed. You will get a response out of them in some form or fashion, from dreams to some kind of synchronicity of some kind. Something will change, even if it's very little from your perspective. So it works. Trust me. So, Joanne, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I don't know.
Okay, so we're at an end here. Thank you for watching this episode. At some point, theworldofsasquatch.com will eventually be active again. And we'll start to improve the site better. But for the moment, just go to Rumble and look for at the World of Sasquatch, or just the World of Sasquatch, one word. You'll find these, and also at the Lifting Presents, you'll also find these on YouTube. So, with that said, I now close this circle within true benevolence and no conflicting agendas as of this moment in time. So, thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now. Okay, everybody. I'm going to show you the 2 episodes that were mentioned, the SpongeBob episode and the Simpsons episode. The SpongeBob one with the chemtrails is one by the name of Salsa Imbecilius. See the numbering? Season 9. Episode 22. See, they were doing the numbering on that as well. So they said episode 188 B, or season 9 episode 22. It's season 9 episode 188 B, or season 9 episode 22, depending on the format. Well, this is really odd because you have 16, that's a 17, that's an 8. You know, that doesn't really do anything. But if you go by the original numbering, 9 and a 22. 22 being a numerologically perfect, like 11, 22, 33. 33 being like the birth of Jesus number or the death of Jesus number, excuse me. But here's the other one for The Simpsons. And the numbers don't always mean what we think they mean either, but they believe it. So, season 35, episode 2, that it's called Outbreak and Treehouse of Horror, number 34 here, XXXIV and Roman numerals, and 34 Roman numerals, Outbreak. It is season 35, episode 2. This is the one where a nuclear waste covered donut changes Homer's DNA. He passes his mutation to everyone in Springfield via green, burped out toxic clouds. And that's like the toxic green glow dust that I've seen uh, before. That there was a synchronicity I had uh, that I happened to see later on online that was about some nanofibers that were green glow dust, and this is insectoid based biotech. And that's what the COVID-19 thing was, where those insectoids attempted to get to me and Joanna, and they were trying to get at our back. And I kept hearing telepathically in the middle of the night, okay, face back to the wall. And I went the other way and heard a noise and happened to open my eyes and see two insectoids shoot them out of there. And they sprayed a green dust in the air. And it was essentially, I got deathly ill uh, in 2021. So, and it was on the Stu Peters show that he had an expert on there that was talking about this very thing. And that was the synchronicity that came after. And many people have seen it as a green glowing dust. I saw this green glowing dust in the air, and then my sight blacked out, and then I got sick. So it's very similar. So I just wanted to tell everybody what that was. It's 11:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, April 19th, 2026. Thank you.